Yeah, we've got the Betsy Rawls Invitational coming up this weekend. It will be our third tournament of our season. The one and only tournament that we host here in Austin at UT Golf Club. 14 teams coming in to compete, a few top 25s, a top 5 in Kent State, and obviously it's fun playing at home. So we're looking forward to it. We're in the middle of our fall semester. We've played 2 golf tournaments. We played in Minnesota, finished 3rd, and then last week we got back from Norman, Oklahoma, where we won, which was nice. So we're off to a good start this season.
Any questions? Raise your hand.
Hey, Coach. 5-6 wins last year, already won so far. Does this team have a ceiling, you think?
No, not really. If we play well, there's going to be a good chance that we win. But no, if we're firing on all cylinders, we can win a lot of golf tournaments.
Is Caitlin playing the best golf of her life, you think, right now?
She's playing pretty good. She won twice as a freshman, so that's, she set the bar pretty high for herself. Since her arrival, she's just kind of maintained that level of play. It's certainly great right now, 3rd place and 3rd place. Had a chance to win in Norman and comes up 1 shot short, so that was painful for her. She was not happy at the end of that tournament. But yeah, she's playing at a very high level right now.
And has Sophie Guo been pretty impressive for you so far?
She has, 16th and 15th individually. She's kind of doing what I thought she was capable of doing, and those finishes, there's actually more in the tank for her. She didn't finish those tournaments particularly well, and she's capable of winning golf tournaments, and she likely will before the end of her career here.
And Emily's in Q school, correct? She'll miss the Betsy Rawls, and will she miss the tournament in the Bahamas too?
She will miss the Betsy Rawls. She will travel the 2nd stage of LPGA Tour Q School, and depending on her outcome there, we may or may not have her for the Bahamas. But that's kind of the norm now. The good players who are seniors now will go to Q School in the fall to secure a place to play in May when they finish their eligibility, and that's where she's at right now. She's trying to secure her privileges either on the Symetra Tour or LPGA Tour in May.
Do you know who will take her spot in the cart this weekend, or are you going to do a qualifier this week?
It will be Marin Chipola. We're kind of running out of players here, but Marin Chipola will enter the 5 spot for us.
Behind spot. Where do you feel, what area of Caitlin's game do you feel like she's improved the most in the last year?
Again, it's a tough one because she's never really dipped since she was a freshman, and all parts of her game are pretty good. Right now, her golf swing is really, really good. She's hitting it how she wants. She's hitting it where she's looking, and I think getting into that U.S. Open last summer and playing in that was a confidence boost for her. Kind of gets her past that question, if you will. Can I play at this level? I think she realizes she can. But from a statistical standpoint, everything is very similar. She's just a very solid player. Doesn't beat herself.
So then on that note, where does she need to get better? Where do you think she needs to get better, and where does she think she needs to make the most improvement?
Well, she's making an effort to try to move that ball farther. She's working out more and differently, which she'll find a little bit of gain there. I think it's wedge play. I think, if you're a bomber, you go about it one way. If you're shorter off the tee, you go about it a different way. You got to be sharper with your wedges, your scoring clubs, and that's where I think her next move in her game will be, sharpening the wedge play, taking it to the next level.
And then just with this week here, Texas OU week being here, is there any greater feeling than going into Norman and winning a golf tournament?
For us, it won't have much of a bearing that it's Texas OU weekend. It's kind of a one-off for us. We normally don't schedule on top of OU weekend. It was kind of an anomaly that we had to. For us, it's nicer to go to Oklahoma and win but it's always nice to win at home if you're able.
The Betsy Rawls tournament, how did Kent State become such a power? I know they recruit Europe and Scandinavia, and they lost their coach. So, how you chronicle their rise a little bit?
Well, yeah, it starts with recruiting. Coach Robertson did a great job there at Kent State recruiting good players, and he's got several great internationals on that team. And he's now the head coach at Oklahoma State, and it's no coincidence that they're immediately in the top 25. He won his first golf tournament as the head coach there. But it starts with recruiting. I mean, it starts with your players, obviously. He had a good group of players, and now those players are experienced. They're juniors and seniors, and so far they haven't lost a golf tournament this year. Kent State's 2-0 and very good.
Dan, on your left.
Logistically, what goes into putting together a field like the one you guys put together? Are you calling up friends in the coaching business? Are you looking for teams that you'll see later in the year? Kind of what are you looking for when you put together a field?
It's a little bit of everything. There's a lot of reciprocity. If we go to your tournament, you'll probably come to ours. That happens a lot. Beyond that, you try to invite the best teams that you can, the higher ranked teams, if they want to come. And then you have your usuals. You have your Texas schools like we do, SMU, TCU, Baylor, that generally always come. So that it's kind of a combination of that for your invites.
How much pressure do you guys put on yourselves to win your own tournament? The Betsy Rawls, is there a lot of self-induced pressure?
There can be. Hopefully not any more than we normally do. But that's kind of the tricky part. It's our golf course, so that's the advantage. We know our course better than anybody, and we're preparing on it daily. But the other side of that is that can create an expectation in your mind. I know this course. I know how to play it. Therefore, I need to play well, or I should play well, which is kind of a false thought. You still have to go out there and execute the golf shots. So that's our job. That's my job. That's Kate Golden's job. You can't have an expectation any differently than you would at another golf tournament just because it's our course. You still have to go and stay in your process and execute the shots the best that you can.
Have there been any surprises over your first two tournaments of the season?
I don't know if I should say surprises, but I mean, Wake Forest is a really good team. You don't see a freshman pull away from the field like Rachel Keene did at our first tournament. That's rare, so that was eye-opening for us. It's just rare that you win a golf tournament and you separate from the field like she did, and it's even more rare that a freshman does that. So that one stood out to me.
You talk about Haley Cooper. She had such a great year last year, but the first two tournaments kind of started off slow. Is that, you think, because of the summer and her playing in so many amateur events, or just a rough start?
Just a rough start, and maybe some expectations there. Again, you can be a victim of your own success sometimes because it creates expectations. And I did this, therefore I'm gonna play well going forward. That's not the reality. And it's not the reality if you play poorly. It doesn't mean you're going to play poorly in the next one either. She's not very far off. She's really close. She's doing a lot of things really well right now. And then there's just a couple of areas that she needs to tighten up, and she'll have it where she wants it.
She played in the LPGA qualifier. Was it last week or is it this week?
Last Monday she did.
How does that affect her and just other golfers just playing a different tournament qualifier on Monday and then the weekend before the weekend, next weekend, playing that tournament with you guys?
It has the potential to affect them in a real positive way if they advance into the tournament. She shot 72, which was very respectable. 68 got in the tournament. There's only 2 spots out of a lot of players. I'm not sure what the number was. But it can be a real confidence boost if you get in the event. If you don't, well, it's nothing lost really.